Hey, how are you? Got a good video here on homeowners insurance, the different forms, the different policy types, and I will break them down one by one and kind of explain that so you can use this training for your team. I'm going to use it for my team, or if you just need the personal knowledge yourself, we will go into each one and how they work. So let's dive into it. All right, so you'll see there's different forms here. I'll go through them real quick and then we'll dive into them a little bit deeper. So there's a homeowner's policy, there's renter's policy, renter's insurance, another form of homeowner's policies, there's condos, there's dwelling fire or landlord insurance, and then a little bonus, a DIC policy, which I'll explain a little bit later. So I'll go through each one. The HO3, that's the form, is a homeowner's policy. It's an owner-occupied home. And that is the most standard kind of homeowners. If you own your house, it's a single family residence, you own it, you should have an HO3 homeowners policy at the minimum. It's a well-rounded, covers fire, it covers liability typically, it covers personal property typically. And that's just basically to cover your exposure for liability, fires, theft, etc. The main things that might happen. And then there's a lot of other bells and whistles that can be added on there, but that is for another discussion. We'll go into the details. But so that's the standard homeowners. You're an owner occupied. Next, your HO4 is a renter's policy. So let's say you live in this house, but you're actually renting it. You're paying the landlord rent every month, or an apartment or a condo. You're just occupying the space as a tenant. You want to have a renter's policy because just in case somebody slips and falls in your apartment or your house, your condo, and they sue you as the you left water on the floor or whatever. It also renter's coverage has for theft. That's the main thing: theft, liability for renter's insurance. So as a renter in any space, condo, apartment, home, you should have an HO4 renter's policy. Then there's the HO5, which is a little bit it's similar to the HO3, but it's a little bit more broad. It has, a little bit better coverage, realistically. That's what it is. It's more of a broad policy, doesn't have as many exclusions. It has only named exclusions. So it's an open peril, that's what it's called. Similar to the homeowners, but a little bit better coverage. Not a very common policy. You'll mostly see HO3 policies, but the HO5 exists. And if it's competitive in price, definitely do it. Give it, put it out there as an option. So then we go into the HO6. This is a condo policy. This one's a little bit tricky and it's hard to recognize sometimes. Also, townhomes fall into this category as well. And the reason you would have a condo is usually it's a shared wall, like complex, where there's an HOA. So an HOA typically owns the building and you own a condo, a unit within that building. So these policies are also what's called a walls-in policy. The coverage, it's only the actual walls inside the condo unit. It's not the whole structure of the building. That is actually covered by a master policy, which is an HOA master policy. So everybody on the HOA Homeowners Association comes together and there's a master policy to rebuild the whole structure, but you need to insure your unit. And that condo unit only has fixed structure, structure within the walls. So the walls, cabinets, anything that's attached, floors, ceilings, etc. So there's owner occupied and non-owner occupied. So if you rent a condo, you own it, but you rent it out. There's a non-owner occupied condo policy as well. So make sure that one's always a little bit tricky. It's like, is my house a townhome? Is it a condo? Do I have an HOA? Always check if they have an HOA because the HOA typically has the master policy. So that's that. Hopefully that explains that. The DP3 is the next one. It's a dwelling fire policy, or also what's called a landlord policy. Similar, kind of like a homeowner's policy, but you rent out your home. So it's a single family residence or a duplex or a triplex that somebody rents from you. So if you're a tenant and you slip and you fall and you get hurt, or something serious happens, like a ceiling collapses on you, you're going to sue your landlord. So make sure your landlord policy, if you own a property and you rent it out to somebody, make sure that you have a landlord policy and don't have like a homeowner's policy or something like that, because that coverage could be excluded. That is meant for owner occupied. This is meant for tenant occupied, homes. So duplex, triplex. There's also a lot of gray area, like I rent a room or I rent a back house or something like that. Always check with underwriting. Ask an underwriter from the company, how should I insure this? Like they rent a back house, or I rent a room, or half the house is rented and I live in part. So there's different ways. Every company's a little bit different. Always check with underwriting. And that's that. So that's an important one. Lastly, this is kind of like a bonus for California people out there. I don't know, this might actually apply in different states, and it probably very likely does. There's what's called a DIC, which is called a wraparound policy. This policy is essentially to fill in the gaps here in California for the California Fair Plan. California Fair Plan is a last resort policy for fire because California has so many wildfires. Lots of companies don't want to insure them. So these homes. So basically you have to get the California Fair Plan, which is a state policy program that is available. And it's very bare bones, like very limited, not a great quality policy. And it's, like I said, like a last resort. So you can go to a standard company, Travelers, Safeco, Liberty Mutual, Nationwide, et cetera, all these different companies, and get what's called a wraparound, which will fill in the gaps of the coverage that the California Fair Plan lacks. So that's all I got. That's what those are the forms that I wanted to share today. So I will dive deeper into, let's just say, the HO3, the HO4, HO5, HO6 dwelling fire, and we'll go through the actual coverages on another video. But this is the overview of what to be aware of. So when somebody calls and they say, hey, I'm renting my duplex and I have a front and a back, how should I insure, or like what kind of coverage do I need? Quickly, like that's a landlord policy, or that's a condo. Okay, you have a condo, homeowners, renters, etc. So that's all I got. Hopefully that helps. And any questions, guys, if you got any value from this, please give us a like. Please subscribe, and comment something below that you would like to see. I'm happy to make more videos. I'm reading the comments. I'm jumping in there, and hopefully this training is valuable. We will continue to use it and to share and to help you grow your team, grow our team, and expand the knowledge. So that's all I got. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys, and we'll see you at the top. Peace. For yourself, and damn it.
Go for it.
Hello, friends. Hello. Potential risk for a claim. Damn it, let's start over.